श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि Swami Desikan's Nyasa Vimsathi Sloka. Today is the third slokam. He talks about the hallmarks of Shishya, the disciple, how he should behave. Sadbuddhi sadhu sevi samuchita charitas tattva bodhabhilashi susru shustyaktamanaha pranipatanapara prashnakala pratikshaha shanto dhanto anasuyuh sharanamupagata shastra vishwasashali shishya prapta pariksham krita vidabhimatam tatvatas sikshaniyaha. So beautifully he enlists the behavior or the hallmarks, the identification of a Shishya. He mentions that the criteria that a disciple has to fulfill are appropriate good thinking and readiness to serve the Bhagavatas, have a kind of servitude, subservient to Bhagavatas, sadhus, bhaktas. And 3, they should have complete, correct observation or following the rituals, the duties that are called upon on the basis of his varnashrama dharma, on the basis of his birth and his ashrama. Birth is based on the varna, ashrama is based on whether it is brahmacharyam or grahastham, vanaprastham or sannyasam. Birth, whether it is a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya or shudra. Depending on the birth, there should be specific observance of duties which he should follow correctly, implicitly on that basis. Then enthusiasm for learning about Tattvahita Purushartham, the entity, the means and the goal. Eagerness to serve the Acharya in his daily routine. Eagerness. Being totally free of any self-esteem, ego, when it comes to the question of serving the Acharya. There should be no ahankaram, abakaram when you serve the Acharya. Enthusiasm to fall flat, dantams, like a stick that falls. When Acharya, in front of the Acharya, he should fall flat before the Acharya on every pretext. As a matter of obedience, extreme devotion, extreme respect, reverence for the Acharya. Constant tendency to benefit from Acharya's explanations. Constantly we should get benefited. We should take the cue from the Acharya Upadeshams. And successful conquering of 5 senses. Complete control of the mind and freedom from any paramai, asuyai, jealousy. Being at Acharya's ashram, Acharya's door for getting jnanam, for obtaining jnanam, for learning the Vedanta jnanam, for acquiring more knowledge and advancement in the spiritual pursuit. And complete faith in the scriptures, in shastrams, and their instructions, and their mandates. Readiness to subject oneself to test of every kind by the Guru. And gratitude, feeling grateful to be for the enormous upakaram rendered by the Acharya. Such a disciple is fit to be imparted the spiritual knowledge is the high level summary of what this third stotra says. In fact, the second and more significant development of Sri Vaishnavam after Ramanuja comes from Vedanta Desika. The period after Ramanuja comes from Acharya Sarvabhauman Vedanta Desika. He marks an outstanding milestone in our sampradaya. He was clearly establishing the Vishishtadvaita Vedanta and Sri Vaishnava theology. He was an intellectual giant, a distinguished Vedantic scholar on all branches of learning. Sarvatantra Swatantra. He wrote more than 120 works, and many of these works are clearly a product of long discussions, arguments, narrations, explanations with senior scholars living in Srirangam at the time, such as Pillai Lokacharya, Alagiya Manavala Perumal Nayanar, Nayanar Achan Pillai, Periyavachan Pillai. Many of the thoughts with these acharyas are indirectly recorded in Vedanta Desika's works. Whether they have a difference of abhiprayam, whatever, but he was very much a scientist, a logical person, carefully mentioning and arguing all sides of an issue before finally coming to what he saw was the most logical conclusion. It is in Srirangam that Desika composed the Paduka Sahasram. Besides all other stotrams which we are enjoying, the Nyasa Vimsathi is one among the stotrams that he composed in Srirangam. Swami Desika's genius is beyond compare. And this slokam, the marks, the lakshanams of an ideal Sishyan are described so beautifully. How an ideal Sishyan should approach the Acharya. And the duties of an Acharyan according to the Shastrams are covered in this and in the next sloka. So, Sat Shishya Lakshanams and Acharya Krityam for preparing the Shishyan for Sadgati, for the Brahma Vidya Jnanam, for the Brahma Vidya Upadesham are described here. So, this slokam and the next slokam are like the summary of the two chapters in Srimad Rahasyatraya Saram, Shishya Krityam and Acharya Krityam, the duties of Shishya and what the Acharya should do. The criteria that a Shishyan should possess, the summary form. Now we will go through the word by word meaning. Sad Buddhi. He should have he should be a Buddhisali, an intelligent. He should have good Jnanam and is a good person to grasp things. Then Sadhu Sevi. He should mingle with Bhagavatas. He should feel happy, joyful, mingling with Bhaktas and Bhagavatas. He is a Bhagavata Sevaparan. He should feel himself as a servant of the Bhagavatas. Kulasekara Alva says, Tud Britya Britya Paricharaka Britya Britya Brityasya Britya Itimam Smaralokanata. I would like to be the servant of 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 your servant. That should be the attitude. Bhagavata session. That is why our Sri Vaishnava Sampradayam glorifies Shatrugna, who was the Dasa of Bharata. Bharata is a devotee of Rama, but Shatrugnan wanted to serve the devotee of Rama, the Bhakta of Rama. So Bhagavata Seshatva. Samuchita Charita. He is marked for his right dharmic conduct and strict adherence to Varnashrama Dharma. Swavarnashrama Niyata Achara Paran. His Varnam, his Ashramam, he should follow. Whatever that we are born as, we should follow that. In fact, if we are born as a Brahmin, and if we have the Upavidam, the Punal, the sacred thread, we need to perform Trikala Sandhya Vandanam. Period. There is no way that we can say, I am a Bhaktan, I go to temple, I am good at heart. All said and done, you are not working normal time, you want to work overtime. No company will allow, no proprietor will allow. You should first work normal time, then only work overtime. No, you are not qualified to even enter into the temple if you do not do Sandhya Vandanam. You become a Nitya Tirthakaran, Sandhyahina Asochi. Without Sandhya Vandanam, one becomes impure, Shastra says. Asmad Acharyan, Srimad Paravakotte Andavan used to gently ask the Shishya who comes into his ashram, do you perform Trikala Sandhya Vandanam? They say, no, I somehow gave it up. How did it happen? Work pressure, late night coming, no time, Swami. Did you give up your meals due to work pressure? Dinner, lunch? No. Partaking of daily meals is also a Vedic rite. Consequently, Trivarnikas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya cannot perform this rite without performing Sandhya Vandanam. We cannot take a meal without performing Sandhya Vandanam. The Smritis declare Sandhya Hina Nitya Asuchi. He who does not perform regular Sandhya Vandanam is forever impure. He is unfit to perform any ritual. Any. Therefore, one who is impure forfeits his right to daily meals. Furthermore, a Chandala is the one who is exempt from performing Sandhya Vandanam. That's because of his birth, his profession. However, a Brahmin who gives up the performance of Trikala Sandhya Vandanam becomes a Karma Chandala. He who becomes a Chandala by failing to perform the rites, the ritual enjoined for a Brahmin. This is a miserable state for him, as a result of which he becomes undeserving of the title Brahmana. So, he used to make sure that they correct themselves, and he will say, okay, you take a book, you are comfortable in Tamil or Sanskrit? Tamil. Okay, take this book on Sandhya Vandanam. It will take 30 minutes in the beginning, then it will become only 8 minutes or 10 minutes maximum to do one Sandhya Vandanam. Make sure you do Pratha Sandhya Vandanam and Madhyanigam before you go to work. Whatever time you come back at night, make sure you do the Sayam Sandhya Vandanam with Prayashchittam, with the Prayashchitta Argyam. Throughout this Upadesham, there was never a trace of anger in the face of Asmad Acharyan. His demeanor, his approach was more gentle but firm, uncompromising. That's what is required for Acharyan to let the Shishya follow the Shastras. And that's what he says, Samuchita Charita. Varnashrama Dharmam should be followed in toto. Tattva Bodha Abhilashi. He has the eagerness to learn about the true meanings of Tattvam, Hitam, Purushartham. Susrushu. He excels, he performs Acharya Kainkaryam, and he pleases the Acharya through his Susrushais, means his Kainkaryams, such as collecting flowers, bringing water, Tirtham, Samagriyas, the Upakaranams, whatever that's required, the fruits, flowers, garlands, for Acharyans, Trivaradhanam, and Tyaktamanaha. He has gotten rid of his Ahankara Mamakara while serving the Acharyan during his daily routines. Pranipatana Para, disposition to display his total obedience to Acharya at every occasion, to prostrate before his Acharya. Tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena sevyaya. Upadeshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Krishna tells Arjuna. Arjuna was sitting in the upper seat. Krishna, as a charioteer, was in the lower seat. And Arjuna is asking questions. Arjuna is a Shishya. Krishna is a Guru. And he tells Arjuna, a Shishya should not be asking like you. He should prostrate, he should humbly serve him, Acharyan, and then ask, Tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena sevyaya. Upadeshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. They will give Upadesham only after being served by the Shishyan. Prashnakala Parikshaha. He would be awaiting the right time to clear his doubts about what he has learned from the Acharya. Shanto Danto, Shantaha Dantaha. Shantaha means full control over the Indriyams. I'm afraid that any of these qualities Adiyan would be passing. Not at all. Dantaha, he would have total control over his mind. One, external Indriyam, the Aimpulangal, the five senses, control. Then control over the mind, Shanto Danto. Anasuyugo, no jealousy, absolutely free of jealousy. Sharanam Upagataha, he would be at Acharya's ashram with prayer for Vidyadhanam, Anugraham of Upadesam, for Sadgati, for spiritual pursuit, for more knowledge. Shastra Vishwasashali, he will have complete faith in Bhagavad Shastrams interpreted by the Acharya, as beautifully narrated by the Acharya, and who has learnt from his Acharya. With the uninterrupted Acharya lineage, the Shastra Vishayams have been passed on. Pariksham Praptaha, he is ready to undergo any test parikshay by the Acharyan for assessing his state of readiness to be accepted as a deserving Shishyan. I would have never been qualified to be accepted had I undergone any test. Kritavid Shishyaha, he will be a grateful Shishyan for the Mahopakaram, for the great Upakaram received from the Sadacharya. He will have Kritagnyate, gratefulness, yes, gratitude. Tattvataha Abhimatam Sikshaniya, truly a Shishyan with the above 15 gunams, the qualities, the Shishya Lakshanam, becomes fit for instruction by Sadacharyan on this Brahma Vidya. Says Swami DESIKA in this wonderful slokam. Adiyan. Dhanyosmi. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline. Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.